What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. It looks like we may be nearing the end for theaters as Disney appears to be abandoning them in their time of need, which is about on par for an evil empire such as Disney. You know, Disney, in terms of at least their films, built all of their money off the back of theaters. Theaters releasing films for the last 50 years with the Disney name on it, leading to secondary purchases of VHSs, DVDs, and digital downloads down the road. This includes Marvel and all of their other franchises, Fox, and more. Now, Disney's primary focus has shifted away from the theaters. It appears they know something we don't. And this on the very same day that AMC Theaters, the largest theater chain in the United States, says they're going to be broke now by the end of the year. Here's the story. Now, just a brief reminder, I'm giving away an Xbox Series X worldwide. The only thing I could say is it's going to be an American version, so if that's an issue where you live, you'll have to do the research. There will be a link in the pinned comment below to enter. It doesn't cost anything to enter. All you have to do is be subscribed. There are ways to earn extra entries by following me on Twitter or Parler or whatever, but you don't have to do those things. So make sure you enter today, and I'll ship out your Xbox Series X should you win. The day it gets here, I'll ship it overnight. Disney says, now, mate, don't leave. Don't leave. And also, a small favor, if you're going to enter, right-click on the link and open it in a new window. Don't leave YouTube, because apparently that'll affect how this video gets out to y'all. So, Disney says its primary focus for entertainment is streaming, announces a major reorganization. Disney is restructuring its media entertainment divisions in order to further accelerate its direct-to-consumer strategy. The company will be centralizing its media business into a single org that will be responsible for content distribution, ad sales, and Disney+. This change comes as the global coup has crippled its theatrical business and ushered more customers towards streaming options. Disney is restructuring its media and entertainment businesses as streaming becomes a more important facet of the company's media business. Boy, think about that. A more tinfoil-y person would say, what a convenient launch time for Disney Plus. I mean, I don't even want to think about that, but I mean, just for fun, think about it. Now, on Monday, the company revealed that it would, in order to further accelerate direct-to-consumer strategy, it would centralize the media business into a single organization. Shares of the company jumped more than 5% during after-hours trading following that announcement. The move by Disney comes as the global coup has crippled its theatrical business and ushered more customers into streaming options. As of August, Disney has 100 million paying subscribers across its streaming offerings, more than half of whom are subscribers to Disney+. There are other paid options like ESPN Plus and stuff like that. Quote, I would not characterize it as a response to the coup, CEO Bob Chapek told CNBC's Julia Boorstin. On closing bell, I would say that coup accelerated the rate at which we made this transition. But this transition was going to happen anyway. Of course. I mean, if you think about digital distribution and the profits of that, remember when they release films into traditional movie theaters, they have to share that money with the theaters. They have to pay a lot more for advertising and all sorts of things like that. When they can sell it to you on premium VOD, they get 100% of that cash. Well, less overhead and stuff like that. We are tilting the scale pretty dramatically towards streaming, Chapek said, and noting that the company is looking at all investments, including dividends, as it seeks to increase its spend on new content. Chapek said the board of directors will have a final say on Disney's dividend payouts. Only last week, activist investor Dan Loeb called on Chapek to end the company's annual $3 billion dividend to divert more capital to the new Disney Plus content. Loeb's third-party capital is one of Disney's largest shareholders and bought more shares earlier this year in support of Disney repositioning around Disney Plus, its flagship subscription streaming service. Loeb told CNBC, "We are pleased to see Disney is focusing on the same opportunity that makes us such enthusiastic shareholders, investing heavily in DTC," that's direct-to-consumer, business, positioning Disney to thrive in the next era of entertainment. Well, what does this all mean? Does this mean that theaters are truly donezo? Well, I don't know. I mean, I think theaters will always exist in some capacity, but when you have Disney, which again runs the multi-billion-dollar franchises, including Marvel and obviously all the Disney films and now everything that comes out of Fox, they're basically saying, like, look, we've got to pivot to digital. We've got to pivot away. And then when you take everything we saw with Regal Cinemas giving up on 2020 and maybe the first quarter of 2021 and the news I'm about to cover with AMC, this is bad news for theaters. You have Alan Horn and Alan Bergman will remain in charge of the company's studios. Peter Rice will continue to head the company's general entertainment group. All will report directly to Bob Chapek. Given the incredible success of Disney Plus and our plan to accelerate direct-to-consumer business, we are strategically positioning our company to more effectively support our growth strategy and increase shareholder value. That's classic CEO talk. Chapek said in a statement announcing the reorg, "Managing content creation distinct from distribution will allow us to be more effective and nimble in making content consumers want most, delivered in the way they prefer to consume it." Essentially, they're making a play for Netflix, or they want to take a bite out of the Netflix budget. I think you're going to see more and more and more and more original, unique content developed specifically for Disney Plus. So looking at the money Netflix is making, and Hulu lagging behind that, I think. Hulu does have some unique programming, but nowhere near the amount that Netflix does. Remember when Netflix was a way to rent the movies, the Hollywood movies that you wanted to see, and you actually got a disc in the mail? Now when you go to Netflix, all you have is their crappy original programming, and it's like finding a peanut in the turd for the most part. They have one or two good shows here or there, and the overwhelming majority of it is garbo. But you watch it anyway because whatever, it's cheap. I mean, that's how Netflix works. Most Americans have both Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus, or some combination of more than one of them, because they're also much cheaper than it was than, traditional cable, where many people's bills were $75 to $150 a month for basic cable. So it makes it easy for people to just justify carrying all three. This in the face of AMC warning it will now could run out of cash this year. AMC has warned investors that it's in danger of running out of cash by early 2021. A bare movie calendar and continued lackluster attendance has left the business hemorrhaging cash. The chain is exploring several ways of acquiring additional sources of liquidity and ways to increase attendance. Well, when you are dependent on Hollywood to release their films and Hollywood doesn't release anything, it's really difficult to get people to go and attend these things. Now, you can play some classic horror films and things like that. They've seen some success with that, but it's still not going to churn the machine that brings people into the theater. When you've got all the advertising essentially stopped from billion-dollar organizations in Hollywood, AMC is left to run ads on their own. And what are they advertising? Fright Nights. It's difficult to know if AMC is really going to come out of this. Shares of the company tanked by 7.8% in early Tuesday's trading. AMC stock, which has a market value of $446 million, has plunged 44% this year. In a public filing, the movie exhibitor said a bare movie slate and lackluster attendance has left the business hemorrhaging cash. As of Friday, AMC said that it has been able to open 494 of its 598 U.S. theaters, but only at a limited capacity of 20 to 40%. The remaining theaters are California, Maryland, New York, North Carolina, and Washington. These theaters, only around 17% of the company's total footprint, represented nearly a fourth of the company's total revenue, meaning while they're 17% of the footprint, they represent almost 25% of the overall revenue. So being able to open those theaters in those markets bears a weightier benefit for them. That said, with New York laws, I specifically around New York and California with the shutdowns that they have, I don't see them being able to open anytime soon. And will New Yorkers and people in California even want to go back to the theater? Over the past 7 days, the U.S. has been adding about 50,000 new, we won't cover that. California has loosened restrictions on movie theaters, but only around 139 of the state's more than 500 cinemas are open. New York's guidelines have remained firmly against theaters reopening. As of last weekend, only 2 of New York's 300 locations were open. AMC is banking on a deal it struck with Universal in July that allows Universal to play a movie for as little as 17 days in theaters before being permitted to release on premium on demand. This could help offset some of its losses as AMC gets a cut of revenue from those sales. I don't know. This is not looking good for AMC, and essentially Disney is basically pivoting away from the requirement in the theater, which is honestly the right business decision, probably. But I'm not sure that these theaters are going to survive it. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.